We're pleased to be joined here by Max Homa. Max, welcome back to Augusta National.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And congrats on an amazing year. You've had 3 wins since last year's Masters, and you just moved to number 5 in the world. What do you think is going to be the key to contending this week, and is there anything different you're doing to prepare?
I think the key, I think it's probably unique to everybody. I think my key here is I haven't avoided the big numbers well enough. I've probably been too aggressive, not worrying about where I'm leaving it quite as much as hitting a great shot that you see in all the highlight reels that go along with this event. I don't know if I've changed too much this week. I have definitely spent more time working on some lag putting and some more time around different spots in the green, picking more people's brains a bit. I played with Justin Thomas yesterday and Jordan today, and just getting to see what they do around this place. That helps, just try to be a sponge a bit more. But I just haven't really played. My game just hasn't been great when I've played here, so it's been hard to take too much from those. So my game's at a better spot now, and I don't really have, in a good way, I don't have scar tissue this place because it's not like I felt really good about my game and had bad things happen. I've just played poorly, so hopefully learning from all that.
Great. We'll go to a couple of questions. Gary?
Max, as far as expectations, as was just mentioned, winning a lot. I mean, 3 wins is a lot. Being 5th in the world, but this is only your 14th major championship start. Having these responsibilities, doing media, does that affect your own expectation of yourself because your relevancy is higher and there's almost a borderline referendum on how you play?
I mean, this is cool. I get to tell all my friends I get to do this. So, but yeah, it's always a balance. As you start to play better, expectations come up, and expectation, I would imagine, for probably any walk of life, but especially athletics, is kind of the devil. It's like you're not taking the reward of playing well. You start to think, I have to play well. And it's weird when you're, let's just say 50th in the world, and you come to a major. If you play great, everyone's like, oh, of course, he's a great player. And if you don't play great, no one notices. I have a poor record in majors. I've got 13th, finally played a good one last year at the PGA. So I think I put enough pressure on myself. But expectation is something I work on all the time as far as diminishing it. And this is a great opportunity to continue to do that. I truly believe that if I don't play well this week, it does not mean I'm not a great golfer. And I've been telling myself that pretty much every week. So as much as I know that this is not just any other event, I also have been practicing essentially mentally treating each event the same, and I've had good success, so I don't see why that would not continue to happen. But yeah, it's definitely a different world when you get to see your name on the press conference sheet at the Masters at Augusta National. It's a little bit of a change of pace for me.
Chris?
Me? Okay. Max, you acknowledged a video of yourself on Twitter a few weeks ago doing the AimPoint, said you were going to try to speed the process up. Just wondering how you're trying to speed that up, and if you had noticed that it was kind of taking a while before that video.
Well, it's really not, I think, is the first part. I'm going to change up the fact that I turn around a bunch because I noticed I was walking in my own line, and I understand that it's just not great to look at. So in the grand scheme of things, I'd like to just make it look like I'm going faster. But if you have somebody go 360 around the hole, it's not fast, but you're used to seeing it. I'm going to change it just for me because I noticed how much I'm kind of stepping around the hole, and I don't love that I do that. But I went and looked at my ShotLink timings, and I'm 35 seconds average on putting. That video is 52 seconds, so that's 7 seconds over. So I think it's really easy to jump on that as being incredibly slow when I don't think that was incredibly slow. It's also tricky. I had hit that putt second. Mackenzie was already in the hole. So not rushing in that sense, but it's not like I had any time to prep for a putt. If you have 2 people putting at 8 feet and 7.5 feet, the guy at 7.5 kind of already has an idea of what they're going to do. But just for me, we're looking at that video and seeing, I understand this is an entertainment product. I'd like it not to feel like you're watching paint dry. And it looked like when I watched it, it was watching paint dry. Been nice if NBC would have just clicked away for 10 seconds, not maybe look awful. But yeah, For a second, I was thinking, I was like, man, am I slow on the greens? Because I've never considered myself a slow player. I don't have very many timings a year. So I was like, oh, am I? And it's nice that we have the ability to go back and check that. And I saw that I'm not. And that made me feel better about at least the pace. But for me personally, it looked bad. And the stepping in my own line thing was kind of I've been told I do that, but didn't notice I did that as much until I saw that video.
Sean?
You cited your major record. Was there something you felt like you had to add to your game to start playing better in majors, or just as you got better and the majors are sort of how you are defined as a golfer, were you putting too much pressure on those events because of what they mean to your resume?
Yeah, I wasn't incredibly well-rounded, I would say, up until last year. I found something in my short game. I've struggled here because I haven't chipped the ball well. I struggle in the other majors because it's so firm at whatever course, similar to here. Here is different. Even if it's soft, it's hard to chip around here. It's obviously a bit easier, but it's hard. You have to use imagination. You see these great chips. The chip Tiger hit in '05 that everyone's seen a trillion times. It looks like it's just a feeder chip, right? But if you don't spin that, it runs up the hill, and it's very specific. So you can make a shot look easy around here, and then you could watch somebody how I used to chip, and you'd think it was the hardest shot you've ever seen. So I think adding some short game, creating some spin, playing firmer golf courses better, that has helped me play a bit better in the majors last year. I know it wasn't like stellar, but that's what felt like the difference has been. So I don't feel like I need to ball strike at my best to, those momentum-saving pars in majors are a big deal, and not making double around the greens is a big deal. Little things like that. But obviously, I'm getting a little bit better every year at all facets. But between my putting and my chipping, I just feel like it had been streaky, and I need to be on the right grass, this, that, or whatever. And I feel like this year and the end of last year, it's starting to all kind of become more predictable in a way.
And then just curious, your takeaways from Gordon Sargent, playing with him yesterday, and your impressions of his game.
Phenomenal golfer, really, really nice kid, hits it 95 miles. I mean, he was so far by us, it was crazy. And it doesn't look like he's going at it that hard. But, I mean, I've heard so many great things about his game, and it was probably even more impressive to see in person. So I think he's going to be he is an amazing golfer, but he's going to be an amazing professional if and when he decides to do that. And, it's always fun kind of hearing about these kids and then finally seeing it in action and starting to understand what all the hype's about.
Barry?
Max, I think when you were winning at Wells Fargo last year, Rory said, that's not a guy who should have lost his card ever. You've told the story about Tiger saying, you should have more wins than you do. Where are you with that belief process in yourself that other players, your competitors, see in your game?
It's a work in progress, but I also am starting to learn that everyone is a work in progress. So that's been kind of nice. When you play this game, you think you're the only one going through little things, and it's not the case. Everyone has their own battles going on in their head. Everyone's confidence is awesome when you have it. When you don't, it feels like it's impossible to get back. So feeling like I'm been on a little more consistent basis, and I've had my setbacks, which has been kind of fun too. I did a terrible job mentally last tournament in Austin, and it was nice to see myself revert back. It was the first week my game didn't feel pretty good since basically the Tour Championship last year, and it was kind of fun to have to address that, hey, I haven't solved this, I haven't fixed it. So confidence kind of comes and goes, but I'm trying to control the things I can control, and that's kind of one of them. I mean, all of us a little bit. If you hit a bad shot, it's not like you can just shake it off like it's nothing, but I'm getting a little bit better at that, just like I'm getting a little bit better at my chipping and my putting and my irons. So I'm trying to treat it like it's the same, it all falls under the same umbrella. I think I did a poor job of that earlier in my career, and now I'm starting to see just how valuable it is to me. So it's very, very nice of people like Rory and Tiger to say those things, and I'm trying not to just shrug those off as they're being nice. I'm trying to absorb that and use that to build confidence.
There in front.
Max, I wonder if you could share your thoughts on the changes on 13, on club selection for you, and the impact you think it could have for players and on the back nine on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting this year just because of the weather. I almost feel like it's not going to show as much risk reward as it probably will if the weather was good. With it being in the 50s and raining and a bit of wind, I'm not sure what direction that's going to be going on that hole. It's not great for my game. I like to cut it with my driver, and I can turn my 3-wood, and now there's no 3-wood play. But it's a much easier tee shot now. I think I'm going to look at it as a 3-shot par 5, and if I happen to hit a good one down the left center, I'll be able to go for it. But like I said, this year's probably going to be a little bit different. But with everything Augusta's done to their golf course, the changes they've made, I think they have such great standing in like the professionals' view that we know that it's the right decision. It's not like I'm sitting here dissecting the coulda, woulda, shouldas. But I do think this year it's going to play a lot. There's not going to be as many eagle fireworks, but it's actually a very fun hole the way we played it yesterday. Blocked it a bit off the tee, laid up, and then you have a pretty fun 50-yard pitch, 40-yard pitch, however really far you want to do it. If you want to ship it all the way up greenside, you can do that. It's just going to be hard to take that shot on the green now, obviously with the creek there. So I think it'll probably play a bit more benign in the chaos. Scoring average will probably be a little bit similar because part of the older tee is you're bringing a lot of trouble into play for the guys who could hit it up over the corner. And so, some of that is enticing, but you're also going to make eagles up there. So I think the scoring average won't be too different. But I think you'll see a lot more guys laying up this year simply just because of the weather. I think maybe a year we'll get great weather. You'll have a lot more of that in between a 3-4 iron. Are you going to do it? Are you not? And I think that's going to be really entertaining. Like I said, it's an easier tee shot, and it might play a little bit more like a 3-shot hole, but those pitches short of the green are really fun.
Ann?
Hi, Max. Can you talk about your excitement level when you drive up Magnolia Lane this year based on your performance this past year? Does it change at all with added confidence in your performance of the past year?
Yeah, it's always very exciting to drive up here for on Monday morning or whatever the first day you get here is. And so it's always exciting, but it definitely has felt like leading up to this and the excitement around playing so well and coming to, the Masters with your game intact and not feeling like you're finding something and not feeling like you're doing a whole lot of tinkering. You're just going to go play. That definitely adds a bit of adrenaline to the situation. And I guess not fun. You always think you come to an event where you can win, but this is kind of the first year I've played this event where I feel like if I do what I've been doing, like, why not? Like, why can't I win? Why can't I contend? Whereas the other ones does feel a little bit more like I needed to catch, not quite lightning in a bottle, but something that's slightly less fast in a bottle. I felt like that.